Hi, I'm Jeremy, and welcome to Young at Art Museum.
And I'm Tally. Congratulations on taking your first step to becoming a Young at Art volunteer.
Today, we'll be going over some important information and tips that will help you when volunteering here at Young at Art.
It's important to listen carefully, and if you have any questions, please wait for the designated question time.
You can always refer back to the manual that we provided you. It can answer some frequently asked questions that you may have.
Let's begin with a short history of Young at Art.
So here's what happened. A few years ago, Esther and Mindy Schrager wanted to add culture to the community, and thus Young at Art Children's Museum was born in 1987 to do just that. Yay! We traveled around for 2 years around the area until we got to our first building. It was super tiny, only 3,200 square feet, but over 1,000 people crowded around on opening day. So, we moved shop over to our old facility, our happy home for 14 years, which was 8 times the size of that first place. We had it all. Garbage truck slides, glowing rooms, and even a boat. But we wanted more, our own freestanding facility. And here you are, at the now Young at Art Museum, which opened May 5th, 2012. 5,500 square feet of creativity and culture. So now it's up to you to continue the 28-year legacy and understand just what it means to be a Young at Art volunteer.
In this current museum, we have 4 permanent exhibits plus a traveling exhibition area. Greenscape, Culturescapes, Wonderscapes, Artscape, and the Night Gallery.
There are also opportunities to volunteer in areas other than those exhibits.
We offer many different day camps for you to volunteer in. Volunteering in camp is a serious week-long commitment, and you are required to stay 8 hours each day of that week. Like the rest of this video, your manual has additional information that is crucial for you to know while volunteering with us.
Please note that if you want to work camp, you may be required to go through a state-mandated fingerprinting. The volunteer coordinator can provide you with more information about this process.
We also have special events that occur in our museum, such as exhibit preview parties, holiday festivals, birthday parties, and more.
In addition to those, we also have special teen-centric events that exhibit your talents. Our comic convention is a place of artsy geekery, where you are able to sell your art to the public, along with interacting with different aspects of the comic community.
We also have our recycled fashion show. You're able to design your own dress out of recycled materials. Past themes have been famous architecture, superheroes, and even fairy tales. You also have the option of being a model, or even helping out with event planning and management.
In addition to all the events we have in our museum, we also have numerous events that occur out of our facility, and we call them outreaches. They are events at local libraries, theaters, parks, and more. They are especially convenient if they occur close to your home, so keep an eye out. We always hold you to a few expectations. Volunteering with us is a professional responsibility, and we expect you to treat it as such.
So here are some rules to follow while volunteering at Young at Art.
Stay professional. As representatives of the museum, we expect you to stay off your cell phones and all other distractions while working. Save it for your break.
If you have an emergency, please make sure to step into a classroom or other private areas of the museum to take care of it.
We also expect you to be a good team player and understand that your flexibility and cooperation is vital for our success.
You should always maintain a positive attitude while volunteering. Inappropriate language is not helpful and could result in dismissal, as well as showing negative body language.
Always be interacting with our guests and provide awesome customer service. Use phrases like, "Let me show you where that is," "That's cool," and "How may I help you?" to make sure each guest is being treated properly.
Always make sure to end on a positive note. Instead of saying, "Please don't climb that," try saying, "Hey, instead of climbing that, why don't we go over here and make this?"
Always keep your assigned area clean. You're responsible for making it look even better than it did when you got there.
Take initiative when you see that something needs to be done. Washing paintbrushes, wiping down countertops, and organizing the exhibit are just some of the many things we expect you to constantly be doing to present the museum in the best possible light.
Unfortunately, sometimes our rules aren't always followed.
So here are some unacceptable behaviors that will warrant specific consequences.
Using cell phones or other personal items, whether or not they are electronic.
Clustering, congregating, or disappearing with friends who are volunteering. You should be constantly engaging with the guests, so try never to sit down or lounge about.
Eating or drinking in any of the museum's exhibits.
Repetitive absences and or tardiness. If you sign up to work a shift, we plan on you being there. Please let us know 24 hours in advance if you have to modify your shift time or cancel it entirely.
Having an unfriendly or uncooperative attitude with anyone in the museum.
Showing public displays of affection with anyone in the museum.
Leaving your assigned work area and or disobeying work. Remember, only the volunteer coordinator and the lead volunteers may move you from your work area. If a staff member asks you to help or move to another area, please make sure they already cleared it with the volunteer coordinator or the lead volunteers. Otherwise, we won't know where you are, which presents a problem.
If the staff member hasn't yet cleared it with the appropriate parties, then kindly ask them to do so. You don't want to get in trouble for leaving your assigned work area.
The following are unacceptable behaviors that can result in immediate dismissal.
Vandalism of museum property.
Use of drugs, alcohol, or smoking. Remember, this is a family museum.
Inappropriate language of any kind. You don't want to offend our guests.
Theft. You are welcome to store items in the teen center, but we are not responsible for any valuables that may become stolen or lost. However, we will still treat it as a crime if we find out.
Harassment, physical, verbal, or sexual. Threats, acts of intimidation, or violence.
Falsifying records or reports. This includes logging volunteer hours that were not completed, telling parents you are here volunteering when you're not, or other forms of forgery. We do keep records, so you will be caught.
Defiling the young adult reputation. Remember that while wearing your young adult shirt, you are representing the museum. This includes when you are on break or when you are wearing your shirt on days off.
Remember that these consequences depend on the severity of the behavior. You will either be given a warning, sent home for the day, or dismissed from the volunteer program. Remember that we do reserve the right to deny the release of your hours should you be removed from our program.
Also, please remember that these are just guidelines. The volunteer coordinator can speed up or delay any form of consequence.
We also have specific procedures to ensure the safety of everyone in our museum.
If there is a fire emergency, please help staff lead guests to the nearest emergency exit and evacuate the building. If your shift ends during the evacuation, you must let the volunteer coordinator know before doing so.
If you are volunteering in a camp or class, please make sure that you assist teachers in leading the children to safety. You are not responsible for any children in the museum. Camp teachers are responsible for the campers, and parents are responsible for their children while they are in the museum. If a parent ever asks you to watch one of their children, no matter the reason or amount of time, please inform them that you are not allowed to do so.
If there is a power outage, calmly ask visitors to walk to the front of the museum and wait in the lobby to see if the power turns back on. If a child is separated from their parent, a code atom will be called. Please calmly help staff members locate the child. If a parent approaches you and asks what is happening, please use the key phrase, "A parent has been separated from the child." It is important to maintain a calm demeanor and avoid using words like missing or lost.
It is important that you are always showing up to volunteer in uniform.
You will not be allowed to volunteer if you are not in proper uniform, and you will be sent home.
The uniform consists of your volunteer shirt, black, blue, or khaki pants, and closed-toed shoes. Jeans may be considered acceptable, but they must be dark and not torn or distressed in any way.
Refrain from wearing any ripped, torn, or distressed clothing, hats, open-toed shoes, chains, spikes, scary jewelry, or excessive makeup. Visible undergarments, tattoos, and non-ear piercings are also not allowed.
Here at Young at Heart, we are dedicated to appreciating each and every one of our volunteers.
However, we also hold you to be committed to us. Please make sure that you treat volunteering here as a professional commitment. We rely on you, so keep that in mind. Please let us know 24 hours in advance when you intend to come in, as well as 24 hours in advance before any intended shift changes.
It is important that you know that we care about the experience of each and every volunteer at the museum. If anything ever happens that makes you feel uncomfortable, whether because of a guest, volunteer, or even a staff member, it's important that you let the volunteer coordinator know as soon as possible.
On a lighter note, we've also had theme park field trips, bowling nights, laser quest parties, scavenger hunts, and more, all to ensure that you feel as welcomed in our community as possible.
Now, your volunteer coordinator will go over with you the ways that you can sign up for hours along with your day at YAA.
I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it informative.
If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. On behalf of the Young at Heart Volunteer Coordination Team, we hope that your time with us here at Young at Heart is as yawesome as possible.